Just pulling into the farm for another normal day of harvest. Wait a minute, what is that? This might not be another normal day of harvest. Hey there, thanks for turning down my road. If this is your first time here, my name's Carl. My little brother and I both work for local farmers full time, but we both also farm together with our cattle herd and our hay operation. Everybody's involved, from the smallest to the biggest. If you don't have the joy of farming yourself, I'd love to help you experience it through this channel. Whatever your background, you found the right place. This is Dodge Brothers Farm and Ranch. Good morning, everybody. I'm here with Scott from Altorfer, and Scott is actually the one behind this. It didn't drop itself off. He drove it out here yesterday. So I'm gonna ask Scott to describe to us what in the world we've got sitting in our driveway here right now.
Claas LEXION 8700 TT. So TT obviously stands, this is a tear track machine. 8700, so we got two different series on these. We got an 8000 and a 7000. Basically the 8000 means it's a wide body machine. It's 67 inches wide feeding in all the way through the machine. The 7000 series is 56 inches wide feeding through the machine. This is actually a Class 9 machine. So 543 horse. She's hungry, she eats a lot of corn, eats a lot of grain. We'll see what she does today.
I'm excited to get in it and get down the road, get the head hooked on and see what we can do with it.
See what happens.
Yep. Oh boy.
Nervous?
No, excited. Whoa. All right, so this combine goes a little over 26 miles an hour down the road. It's pretty exciting. Am I doing it right?
Away we go.
Well, I am combining with the Claas LEXION right now. We're going 4.6 miles an hour, dumping on the go. We could go a lot faster. We were going 7 miles an hour earlier. This is a very big machine. It's far bigger than we need, and it's far bigger than you need to run a 12-row head. But that's the head they had available, so that's the one we're using. One thing that I must admit I find a little bit weird is the fact that the windshield wiper motor is right in the middle of the windshield. I got to admit, I'm not a huge fan of that. It seems really strange, but I'm sure you get used to it after time. You can look down here, there's a hole that you can actually see the tailings elevator, what it's dumping back into the separator. this combine, you explained earlier, is a Class 9.
Correct.
We're running a 12-row head on it.
Yes.
And it needs a bigger head.
Yes.
16 you say would be ideal.
Correct.
18 row with 20-inch spacings would also be ideal.
Correct.
This is a little too small for the combine, which is why we're able to go 7-8 miles an hour, do a good job.
Doesn't really know it's there.
No. I was going 8 earlier and it was using 82% of the engine horsepower. Okay, so this is basically the main screen that you're paying attention to all the time, that controls pretty much everything in the combine, right?
That's our CBIS monitor in this. The new feature on this is it is now a touchscreen, which is quite nice. Which is great, because
if we're anything that I'm looking at, I can touch and we can change. We've got all of these settings on here: machine settings, header settings, drive components. What's this automatic?
That is, with this machine, this has the CMOS automatic, which is basically your self-cleaning. So this machine will do all the automation itself through the threshing, the separation, the cleaning, all that stuff. Today, what do? We shut off the auto threshing, but we kept on the cleaning and separation. And this stuff is threshing pretty easy, so we just set that manually and away we went.
So one thing that is cool with that is when you're going through the field, and you can see we're going gangbusters right here. The corn's really good where we're at. You get down there and the corn's really short and the ears are smaller, and you go through areas like that, and normally you just set it for the predominant type of corn that you have in the field. But this combine can actually adjust on the fly, as I understand, as you're going through.
Correct. This has cruise pilot on it, so actually you can set your target speed in there with your min and max speeds, and the machine, as it's going through, depending on how much crop it's taking in, through the sensors and all that stuff, it'll adjust your speed as you're going through.
So from here, we can adjust our header, we can adjust our rotors, we can adjust the sieve, the chaffer.
And
what do you guys call this? What looks to me like a cylinder that's ahead of the rotors. What do you guys call that? Because that's something you guys have that we don't.
Yeah, it's our APS. So it's accelerated pre-separation is what it is. So basically, if you notice on that little cylinder right there in front of the A, that's kind of our pre-separator. So when that's open, there's a little latch over here that you can open those, open and close it. That will thresh 30% of your easily threshed crop.
Before it even gets to the rotor?
Before it even gets to the threshing cylinder. And that goes right in your tank.
Okay,
so
wow.
that opens up quite a bit on the capacity.
So in essence, you're only using 70% of the capacity that you would be if you didn't have that.
Correct. Correct.
So what are they doing on this machine that they didn't do on the last generation of Claas LEXION combines?
So they made a few adjustments that prospective buyers and our current customers were looking for. Name a couple of things. They made the threshing cylinder bigger in diameter, so it's 30 inches, which basically we were running 200 RPM on our threshing cylinder. You can really run it slow, so wear and tear wise and grinding on crop and all that stuff, it's really easy on that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I did notice that the corn, usually whenever you get ground up corn, it's right up against the window, and it wasn't grinding corn today. It was doing a good job.
A couple other things. The unload auger, so they kind of pitched it forward a little bit. Our last ones kind of sit back, where all the other ones kind of sit right out the window for the operator, so they can look right out. So they kind of tilted that forward good, which was nice. It unloads at this particular machine unloads at 5.1 bushel a second. The 7000 series is 4.3. Bigger grain tank. Went to 510 on this. This is on a track machine. If you had wheels, it's 425.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that much on wheels.
Well, yeah, especially if it's wet. Look out. So
why, my wife and I were wondering this, why do they put the windshield wiper motor right in the middle of the windshield?
That's a great question. You might want to email Claas about that.
It was fun though. I mean, look at this. That's why they do it.
Correct.
So it's a little bit windy outside. I don't know how well you're going to be able to hear me, but I just wanted to mention how high you can raise this header off the ground. We were sitting there and I raised it all the way up and I said, wow, you can get the head really high off the ground. And then Scott from Altorfer said, keep holding the button. And what this thing actually does is the whole front end of the machine raises up higher so that the header is even further off the ground. I mean, I'm 6'2", and I could walk straight down underneath the snoots without hitting my head. When we clean the John Deere off in the morning, and I'm using the blower to blow all the chaff out from underneath the head, this would be a pretty cool feature to have. Okay, let's just take a little look at the outside of this combine. This thing is huge. It's got a lot of things going on here. So
this one's got the auto lube system on it.
Okay, wow. Combine greases itself?
Correct. Correct. All you do is just basically what guys do with the tube, take this lid off, and there's a little plunger in there, and it pushes the tube right in there.
Okay,
So
all right.
this will run pretty much all of your major grease banks, and you can adjust your sensitivity, or like your aggressiveness, and all that stuff up in the cab. Most guys just run it aggressive. Grease is cheap. Try to make sure everything's getting one. If a grease circ on it is not getting anything, you will get alert up in the cab.
And then I'm noticing these red gauges. I assume that's what they are on the springs for making sure you have the appropriate amount of tension on your belts and chains. You just bring those gauges till they're almost touching.
Yep, tip to tip. And also another thing with the wheels back here, if you see these little flaps right here, those are actually for wind compensation. So you can set that up in the cab as well. If you got a strong crosswind, it'll divert more of the flow this way, and on the other way around, it'll do it the opposite way. So you're getting a better spread pattern.
Wow, look in there. How much surface area do you have on the sieves compared to the last model? Have they increased that?
It's about the same. It's about the same. So threshing and separation, we're about a short 9,000 square inches.
9,000.
So we're about double a green one or a red single rotor.
And you have twin rotors, and how big are they?
They're 17.5 inches in diameter, and they're a short 14 feet long.
14 feet. That's a lot of rotor. Obviously, to try to give an honest comparison of this machine to our John Deere is almost impossible to do because it's 3 sizes too big.
Correct.
But it's definitely an impressive machine, what it's able to do. Well, thanks for bringing it out.
Thanks, Carl.
We'll see you again, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Well, I'm back in the little John Deere. The little John Deere. 8-row head, 4 to 4.5 to 5 miles an hour, dumping on the go in good corn. This combine is really not that little, but when you compare it with that giant monster of a Lexion combine that we just ran, it's pretty small. This feels like a comfy little house. I'm so used to this thing, even in the dark. The controls, my thumbs and fingers go exactly where they need to, and I know exactly what I'm doing. It's almost hard to give a fair evaluation of something that you're not used to on the first day. But I really did enjoy the opportunity to run that combine today, to check it out and see what Claas has to offer. The cab was really, really quiet, really comfortable and high end. The seats were super comfortable. The controls were pretty ergonomic. I did really enjoy it. I appreciate Scott from Altorfer for bringing that out to let us give it a try today. Really enjoyed hanging out with him. He's a great guy. Had a good day, a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, thanks for riding along, and I'll see you next time.